So welcome back, my dear students. We just discussed something about communication, the definition of communication. Then we have just seen what different types of communication are. We just discussed about intrapersonal communication, interpersonal communication, group communication, and mass communication. And on the basis of some other criteria, some other types of communication are there, like verbal communication, written communication, and non-verbal communication. So we have got a thorough idea on different types of communication. Now let me move to the relationship between communication and language. We have to talk about relationship between communication and language, whether there is a relationship between communication and language. If yes, what sort of relationship is there between communication and language? Whether it has got an inevitable relationship between communication and language. So we have to look at all these aspects. And before telling about the relationship between communication and language, we should learn something else first. For example, actually, we always tell about some people that they have read Ramayana completely, but still they do not know the relationship between Rama and Sita. So first they should know who Rama is and who Sita is. Then only we can learn the relationship between Rama and Sita. Similarly, when we talk about relationship between two items, what should we know first? Yes, anyone? If you have to know the relationship between two items, suppose communication and language, what should we first know? Yes? Yes? Please. Anyone? Yes. Remit. If you have to know about the relationship between communication and language, what should you know first?
Language, you should know.
Yes, we should know what language is and we should know what communication is. Yeah?
Yeah.
If you have to know the relationship between two items, then first you should know what the two items are. If you want to know about the relationship between teacher and student, then you should first know what, sorry, 1 minute. Rama sir is there, sorry. So if you want to know about the relationship between the teacher and student, first you should know who a teacher is and who a student is. And here, when we discuss the relationship between communication and language, we should know what communication is and what language is. So we have already discussed what communication is. And we know different components of communication, different elements in the process of communication, and different types of communication. Now, before talking about the relationship between communication and language, one more thing we have to know. Yeah, what is that thing? Language. As then it's taught, language. So what is a language? What is a language?
A medium of communication.
It's a medium of communication. If you tell language is a medium of communication, it is not the definition. Actually, it's a feature of language. Okay. It's a characteristic of language. How can you define language? And see, if we tell, if we,
Expressing ideas.
yes, expressing, yes, I haven't heard. Pardon? Yes. Yes, once more.
Sir,
Tell me.
sir, usage of distinct sounds and expressions to express a feeling or information.
Yeah. A system where or in which we use distinct sounds and letters, yeah, for expressing our views. Okay, you're right. So I may be making the definition more general, or we have to use some other technical terms. Okay, using some sounds or letters. Then if I tell mango, see, if I tell mango, you can realize, yeah, yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
You can picturize mango in your mind. Yes, am I right?
Yes, sir.
But do you see mango?
Yes, sir.
Do you see mango? Actually, do you see mango? No. Yes.
No. No.
No.
So I am using a symbol. I am using a symbol which represents mango. Yes. Right?
Yes, sir.
Yes. So these symbols may be sounds or letters, right? Right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. If I write mango, then I'm using written symbols or graphic symbols. If I utter mango, I'm using sound symbols. Then considering this word symbol, how can you define language? Okay, who gave me that answer? Who gave me that answer? Language is a system of sounds and letters, distinct sounds and letters. Yes,
Sir Vrinda.
yes. Brunda, can you define then again? Can you define language by using this word, symbol?
Sir, in certain languages, a word or a symbol it is given a certain meaning. It is fixed.
Yeah. So when
We are being
yeah, Brunda, when we define, you first tell language is a system of sounds and words. So we have got a single word for that, symbol, because we are using some symbols which are representing some items. So we can define language. Language is an abstract system of what? What? Symbols. Yeah, right?
symbols.
Yes, right?
Yes, sir.
And as you told, these symbols carry some meanings. Okay.
Yes.
Then we can expand the definition. Language is an abstract system of symbols which carry prescribed meanings. Yes.
Yes, sir.
So this is the definition we can give for language. Sorry, the title is social media communication. I forgot to change the title. You can look at the right side. Language is an abstract system of symbols which carry prescribed meanings, which carry some meanings which we have already given. The symbols may be sounds or graphic on the basis of the mode of communication, that is spoken or written. If you are using spoken language, then the symbols will be sound symbols. And if you are using written format, then the symbols will be graphic or written. So language is an abstract system of symbols. Actually, you are not using the items. You are not using the real objects. When you tell apple, actually you are not showing apple, but you are using some sound symbols which can bring or which can convey the meaning apple. Yeah. So language is an abstract system of symbols which carry prescribed meanings. These symbols may be sounds or graphics. Yeah, right? Right?
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Yes, thank you. Then again, before discussing the relationship between communication and language, we should discuss the features or characteristics of language. Language has got different features. Language has got different characteristics. So I may just show you the different characteristics or features of language. The first feature is language is humane. I'm asking you whether other animals have got language. Yes.
We
sir.
don't know. I think not as human,
Yeah.
but I don't know whether they have any sort of other sort of
Yeah. So human beings believe
language
that
that.
the system of language, actually they have got language. That means we call something else also language. We call our gestures a sort of language. We call our body movements a sort of language, and we call body language. But technically language is the abstract system of symbols, words, letters, sounds. And it is told that no other animal has got a system of language. Other animals are making use of some noises, some gestures, some eye movements, but they haven't got a systematic language as human beings got. So the most important feature of or trait or aspect of language is that it is humane. It is something exclusive for human beings. And this item or this feature called language distinguishes man from all other living beings. It is told that this is one of the aspects, one of the features which distinguish man from other animals or all other living beings. Okay, so this is a feature of language. Then another feature is language is symbolic. As we told in the definition itself, language is an abstract system of symbols. So it is symbolic. So it gives us an advantage, because if you want to tell orange, there is no need for taking orange. Suppose if we haven't got symbols to tell orange, so if you want to tell a person that you want to eat orange, then you have to go to the market and you have to bring some orange. But you have got language, and language is symbolic. And in each language on this earth, there are thousands of sound symbols and graphic symbols. And to convey each and everything in this world can be conveyed by using each and every language, because it has got lots of symbols, sound symbols and graphic symbols. See, if you're using gestures, how many gestures are there? How many types of body movements are there? Very limited. Yeah, but there are different symbols in each language. So it's another feature of language. Then language is meaningful. Just think about other gestures and body movements, which are also regarded as means of communication. Okay, you can communicate even without language by using gestures, by using your body movements. But the matter is that when you use language, your communication becomes meaningful, because you have got different words for communicating different things. If you're using gestures, sometimes there may be some confusion. For example, if you use a particular gesture, the receiver may not be able to catch what you intend. There may be some confusion, but when you use words and sentences, there is no confusion. So language is meaningful. It can convey meaningful sentences. It can convey whatever you want to convey to another person without missing any point. So language is meaningful. Language is humane, language is symbolic, language is meaningful. Then language is systematic. Look at each and every language. Look at your mother tongue, Malayalam. Look at Hindi, our national language. Look at English, the international language. Each and every language has got its own grammatical rules, functional items. So systematic structure can be seen there. For example, if you want to tell something which you are going to do tomorrow in your mother tongue, you will tell Nala Varu. If you want to tell something about something which you did in the previous day, then you can just tell in your mother tongue, Innale Vammu. So from a single word, you can make changes or structural changes. Then you can have systematic communication. When you use come, if you use I came, then something which is conveying something which happened in the previous day. When you tell I will come, again there is a systematic nature. So language is systematic. Then language is flexible. Because sometimes same symbols may be used for a different meaning in different contexts by making structural changes. Yeah. For example, if you use the word go, if you tell I will go, it has got another meaning. And if you tell I have to go, then meaning is changed. If you tell I should go, I must go. So by using the same word in different contexts, you can communicate different items. It's very flexible. Language is flexible on the context. On the basis of the context, you can use language. There is no strict nature. Something easy. You can make changes as the circumstance demands. So language is flexible. So these are some characteristics of language. Then I may go back to the thing which one of you told, a feature of language. As a whole, if you think about language, language is one of the components of communication. What are the different components of communication? What are the different elements of communication? What are the different elements of communication?
Sender,
Sender,
medium,
medium,
signal or message,
signal or message,
receiver.
So these are some inevitable items. Okay, these are some necessary elements, and language is a medium of communication, right? Right? Yeah. When you talk about the relationship between language and communication, the first sentence which you can tell, language is a medium of communication. See, I use a medium of communication. Again, a. I told you that when you use a, that means one of. Okay. When you tell a doctor, that means a doctor among many doctors. So when I tell language is a medium of instruction or medium of communication, sorry, language is a medium of communication, then it tells that language is one of the media of communication. Then I may ask you, if we tell language is a medium of communication, one of the media of communication, is it justice? Is it complete? Can we justify such a sentence? Language is a medium of communication, or language is one of the media of communication.
One of the media of communication.
Yes, if we tell one of the media of communication, is it justice? Actually, do we show justice to language? Yes. Think, if I tell a medium of communication or one of the medium of communication, if I tell a medium of communication, that means one of the media of communication. Is it a mere medium of communication just like other media of communication? If you tell language is a medium of communication, then it's just a medium of communication, just like gestures, just like body movements, just like eye contact, just like facial expressions. Is it just like other gestures?
No, it is the most important media.
Yeah. That is, who said that?
Jasbin Ali, sir.
Yes, Jasmine, you are exactly correct. Because if we tell language is a medium of communication, one of the media of communication, actually it is injustice. But we should tell language is the most important medium of communication. The most. We should tell the earlier mentioned features of language. We have told some features. Language is meaningful, language is humane, language is systematic. And these features you cannot see in gestures. Yes, you cannot tell gestures are meaningful. You cannot tell gestures are systematic. So the earlier mentioned features of language make it the most significant or most important or more special, or the special medium of communication. So when you tell about the relationship between communication and language, you should tell language is the most important or most effective, most significant medium of communication. And if you have to justify your argument, if you have to prove your argument, then you can think about these features. How can you tell language is the most important medium of communication? Then just tell these points. Language helps in thinking and conceptualizing. Yeah, because I have told you that language has got symbols. Language is symbolic. So when we think about different items, for example, when you think about mango, you can just see mango in your mind. Okay. But if you want to tell something about mango, if you want to describe mango in your mind, then you need language. For example, if you want to think mango is beautiful, mango is tasty, mango is a small fruit, yeah, then you have to make use of language. And man is different from other animals with his reasoning and thinking power. I do not know whether other animals have got thinking power or not. According to modern people, according to human beings, other animals haven't got the power of thinking and reasoning. We tell it in Malayalam, Vishesha Buddhi. We feel that other animals haven't got capacity to think, but we have got capacity to think because we have got language. So if you actually in communication, thinking is something important. So language helps in thinking and conceptualizing. Concept. We are able to create concepts. For example, we know concept called bird. 1 minute, my dear students. Sorry. So concept, I think you know concept. Bird is a concept. See, if you see pigeon, it's a bird. You can realize it's a bird. If you see any other bird, sparrow, then bird. This concept of bird, we are creating concepts by looking at the common elements in different items. So you will learn this one, conceptualization, you will learn a concept formation, you will learn in psychology. So we are able to create concepts just because we have got language. So language helps in thinking and conceptualizing. And we can convey our concept to others by using language. Yes, got it? It makes the language the most important medium of communication because language helps in thinking and conceptualizing. This process is not there in any other animal. Then language makes communication more meaningful because we have told that language is meaningful. And this nature you cannot see in any other gesture. For example, if you use this signal, it has got different meanings. Sometimes I may want to tell you two, or otherwise I may want to tell victory. Yeah. So gestures are not meaningful. There may be some confusion. But when you use the word, if I tell I want two people, it's clear, complete. If I tell we want to express our victory, we have one, it's clear. If I show this one, even if I want to show we have one, but the receiver may not be able to catch. Sometimes the receiver may think two. But if I tell there are two people, it's clear. If I tell we have one, it's clear. So gestures and body movements have many limitations. And sometimes there may be confusion. But when you use language, communication becomes more meaningful. So language makes communication more meaningful. So it is something better than other gestures, body language. Yeah? Yes. And language facilitates aesthetic aspects. And this is something important. We are able to enjoy poems. We read and enjoy poems. We read and enjoy novels. We have got something called aesthetic sense. We enjoy beauty by using words. Yes, right? Aesthetic sense is a precious gift inbuilt in man. And this aesthetic sense is on the basis of language. How can we enjoy? How can you realize or how can you fulfill our aesthetic sense? How can you please your aesthetic sense without language? So it shows you the beauty of language, beauty of communication. If you tell the man is tall and handsome, you cannot realize your aesthetic sense just by seeing the man. But when someone tells that the man is handsome, the man is tall, or the tree is beautiful, nature has got some charming beauty, then you get some mental feeling, and that is what is aesthetic sense. And aesthetic sense can be realized or fulfilled only with language. So again, this feature cannot be seen in gestures and body language. The language facilitates cultural exchange. Actually, language is an inevitable part of one's culture. We told that when we talked about social diversity and such things. Language is something which represents your culture. And when you when you want to convey your culture to another person, then you have to make use of language. See, when a person speaks in mother tongue, you can tell whether he's from Kasaragod, whether he's from Kannur, whether he's from Vattakara, whether he's from Malappuram. Because language is a part of culture. So language facilitates cultural exchange. Again, this one cannot be done by other gestures and body movements. And language facilitates written communication. Have you ever seen an animal writing letters? Yes, maybe in stories, yeah, in Balarama and Pobata. But have you ever seen in your actual life a cat or rat writing letters, reading newspapers, writing assignments?
No.
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 Yes, language exclusively helps man to write books, journals, magazines, and which are considered useful tools in communication, information, knowledge, and literature, communicating information, knowledge, literature, etc. So language facilitates written communication, and this written communication has got some significance in the case of education, in transferring knowledge. And see, we get the knowledge of our previous generation by reading books. And this is not available by using gestures and body language. So language exclusively helps man